If you're moving into the Pensacola area, there's a good chance you're coming here for the beaches. The thing about it is, there are many tourists who are doing the exact same thing, not to move here, but in order to take advantage of the awesome beaches that we do have in the Emerald Coast. In this video, what I'm going to be doing is diving into those areas you might want to move to if you want to avoid those tourist attraction pits, right? Those tourist attraction areas. I'm pretty much going to be going into like your high tourist traffic areas, your high tourist lodging areas, and also some areas you might want to live in if you want to avoid those areas, which ones you really want to live in to avoid any tourists that do come into the area come summertime. Now, I mentioned summertime because that is the majority of the time that we do see a lot of the tourists that are coming here. I pretty much say it starts to hit like right around spring break, going all the way down into right before the kids go back to school. But then even after then, we get a few tourists from here, probably through until October. After that, then it's pretty much dead. So if you're planning on going to Pensacola Beach and getting into a restaurant without a wait, I'd highly recommend going probably like November to February. Let's kind of go outside of that though. Let's talk about these high tourist traffic areas. Before I do though, I try to notice trends every single time that we talk with you guys on the phone. So let me just answer very broadly a few of them. First things first, yes, I am a licensed realtor here in the state of Florida along with Trent. We are both licensed realtors here. We do help you out with all your real estate needs. Number two, no, I have not picked a college team. I am more about professional sports, more specifically the Denver Broncos. So I just wanted to kind of get those out of the way because those are the top two things that you guys always ask if you are reaching out to us. All right, let's get off of that topic because you don't want to hear about me. You want to hear about the Pensacola tourist attractions and how to avoid them, or maybe you want to be near them. I don't know. All right, so the high tour traffic areas. The big thing is a lot of people who are coming in to enjoy Pensacola Beach are either coming in from driving down from Mississippi, Louisiana, or Alabama. So all of them are pretty much coming off of the I-10, or they're flying in from Pensacola Airport. So you can expect that route from pretty much Pensacola Airport or the 110 coming down south towards 3 Mile Bridge into Pensacola Beach to be high traffic areas when we are in the middle of tour season. Past that, once you get past the 3 Mile Bridge, going through Gulf Breeze proper, which is that main portion of Gulf Breeze, the city limits of Gulf Breeze, is going to be a high traffic area. And then I'd say like it's not super high traffic, but we do still get some people who fly into Pensacola International Airport to get over to Fort Walton Beach and then also Destin. And so as you go past proper, all the way down 98 and the Navarre Parkway, all the way down into Destin, you do still get a little bit more traffic during those high tourist seasons. And so that's what we're looking at when we're talking about those high traffic areas when it comes to tourism. Like, it's insane. When we're talking about going down to Pensacola Beach, even though we do have our local spots that we like to go that a lot of tourists do not know about, coming back across the bridge from Pensacola Beach over into Gulf Breeze proper can sometimes can be a little bit of a headache because you have a bunch of cars that are piled in there trying to get out of parking lots. Do not go to a parking lot, especially if we're talking about that parking lot that's come over from like Flounders or like Senior Frogs. That is a pit. If you want to get stuck in traffic, definitely go park in there or try and go through a route through that area. And once you do live here, you do start to notice these trends on where to avoid when you are trying to get in and out of these areas in regards to that tourist traffic. All right, cool. So now let's talk about those mild tourist locations. And the majority of this is mainly going to be like Navarre. Navarre does pop a little bit when we are talking about tourists, but it's not as bad. I mean, it still gets it from time to time. Navarre Beach does get a little packed. Nothing like Pensacola Beach. They really don't have the amenities over at Navarre Beach like Pensacola Beach does when we're talking about your shopping, when we are talking about your restaurants, your eateries and stuff like that. There's not as many attractions over Navarre Beach, although there are some. So that's why I call it mild. And then we also talk about mild areas. Expect that there are a lot of people who want to pretty much tour the beach, but necessarily don't want to stay on the beach because they don't want to see all the stuff, the chaos that kind of happens on the beach at the nighttime. You know, the club and the kids kind of doing their rambunctious stuff, or the older kids. They don't want to be a part of that. So they'll kind of try to get away. They'll rent a short-term rental or something on the outskirts a little bit. So when we're talking about down the highway Gulf Breeze, that's actually where we had 2 of our Airbnbs, and we did great for families when we were renting them out because families were like, you know what, I want to take advantage of the beach. I want to drive down there, but at the same time, I don't want to stay there. I want to be able to come back, relax, be somewhere a little bit quieter. And so you'll get some mild tourist lodging and then also traffic when we're going down the highway, down 98 a little bit more into your Oriole Beach and then also Tiger Point areas. The third thing that I wanted to discuss, because we kind of hit on Navarre a little bit when we are talking about tourism, is I think that they're kind of trying to gear up a little bit to get a little bit more tourists within Navarre. Now, it goes both ways because you do see development in regards to hotels, restaurants. They're actually just announced that they're going to be putting like Wawa's targeting an area to go within Navarre Parkway right there. And so they're doing some things, but at the same time, they're doing some things to kind of push it away a little bit. So there's this restaurant owner, I forget his name. I think he owns TC's Back Porch or whatever. It's a great little restaurant that we love going there. But there's this like 8-acre piece of land, I think, behind him. They're trying to do this like Navarre City Center area, which actually the city council shut down 6-2. And so you see stuff like that and it's like, okay, so Navarre doesn't want to grow in tourism as much as I thought they did. But we'll see what the future brings. I mean, if there's only one person, one business owner within Navarre who's trying to grow it, I'm sure there's others who are seeing that, and there's only a matter of time where that development will happen, and Navarre might become a lot more popular in regards to tourism. Just keep an eye out for it. We just know that anytime that, I mean, we're down the highway in Gulf Breeze, we want to go to a restaurant that we haven't gone to constantly over here in Gulf Breeze. We always go down to Navarre because they have a lot more selection when we are talking about your eateries and then also your restaurants. The fourth thing that I want to dive into is when you are living in this area, what to expect during tourist season if you haven't experienced it here. And before I do that, guys, I'm going to mention one more time that I am a licensed realtor here to help you out with all your real estate needs, me and then also Trent. So if you are looking at relocating here, give us a call or text at that phone number right below right there. We always answer, it doesn't matter date or time, but if you're not quite ready to purchase, make sure you follow along and educate yourself by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, notification bell, that way you're notified every single time we put out a brand new video. So let's go ahead and talk about this. What to expect living in a tourist hotspot, because even though it doesn't bring in near the tourism as, say, some spots in South Florida or even mid-Florida like Clearwater and all that stuff, we do have a tourist season here. Biggest thing to expect is if you have your favorite spots on Pensacola Beach, just know you are going to be waiting. And we had a spot that we thought was pretty buffered from tourists in regards to restaurants. It was a little hidden spot that we had and all that stuff. Tourists finally found out about it, and so for the first time since we've been here, we had to wait this last summer in order to get our restaurant with, you know, usually we have like our favorite waiter or whatever it is, the pick that we like to do and all that. But just know that the restaurants on Pensacola Beach are going to be packed. And that's not just on Pensacola Beach. That will also be Pensacola downtown. I personally made the mistake when we had some family in town. We wanted to bring them to Graffiti Pizza in downtown Pensacola. It was in the middle of July, and I should have known that it was full of tourists. Yeah, I think it was like an hour and a half wait. And so just know that if you are deciding to go out and eat, there's a good chance that you're going to be waiting an hour plus potentially with the tourists who are done with their beach day, wanting to go out and enjoy the local restaurants that are in the area. The other thing which I kind of already hit on is just expect the traffic is going to be a little bit more backed up. But it's not as bad as you think. Even in the height of tourist season here, we still go to the beach. We just know that you're gonna wait probably like, I'd say like 5 minutes hold on the bridge going from Gulf Breeze proper over to Pensacola Beach. It really isn't that bad. The worst that I see it is when we have Blue Angels weekend. A lot of people do come over to watch that show over to the beach. That is by far the worst that I see that area when we are talking about the traffic over in Pensacola Beach. So the restaurants are booked. The traffic is a little bit worse. Know that there are specific weekends like Memorial Day weekend within the area where the tourists come and they have a huge festival that's on the beach. Your Walmarts, your grocery stores, and all that stuff are going to be wiped out. And so if you're living here, try and do your shopping beforehand. We know that there's going to be a huge weekend on Pensacola Beach. Also, another thing to plan is potentially have multiple beaches in mind when we are talking about living here and we still want to take advantage of the beach in the summertime. And so a lot of times we have a few different beaches that we do choose from that, you know, they're not our favorite, but they're a lot more secluded from tourists. So we can go there, not have to worry about parking, not having to worry about a place to set up our canopy and all those things. So just have a plan in mind that when tourists are here to try and avoid them as much as possible when we are talking about that beach so you can still enjoy yourself without people constantly stepping on your stuff. All right, so we kind of dove into that with the whole tourist thing. Now I'm going to go into two more things. The first one of the two is going to be your tourist buffer zone, where you want to live if you pretty much want to be away from this 100% within the Pensacola Metro. Okay, 100% was the wrong number to put out there. Let's just say like 82.5% you're going to be away from the tourism if you live in these areas. The cities are, okay, so before I dive into those, the last thing is going to be the beach. If you want to live on the beach, I will tell you the main beach you want to go to if you want to get away from a majority of this tourism. All right, cool. So let's go and dive this. The cities that you do want to live in, if you want to be away from this tourism, want nothing to do with it, is going to be Pace, Milton, and I'd even say Cantonment area if we're talking about the Pensacola Maritorro. Of course, if you're going a little bit further north in the Panhandle, you can find some areas, but I'm specifically talking about your Pensacola metro area. These are the areas you're really going to want to be in. I'd even say like North Navarre, you're going to be, you know, as long as you're not going more over onto Navarre Parkway where all the tourists and stuff like that are at. But this is going to be your buffer zone where you're not really going to have to worry about any tourists whatsoever. Typically, like for me personally, when we are buying our short-term rentals, we want to be within 15 minutes of a beach. So you don't see too many short-term rentals with a lot of tourists taking advantage of those Airbnbs and those VRBOs up in these areas because they want to be close to the beach, right? They want to take advantage of the beach. So unless there's something else that's drawing them to that area, there's a good chance you're not going to see too many of these tourists who are up in Pace, Milton, Cantonment area. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. All right, cool. So let's also dive into if you want to live on the beach, because there are many of you who say, listen, Pete, I want to be on the beach. I want to be right there. I don't care about hurricanes or nothing else, tourists. Okay, let's not say tourists because that's why I'm exposed right now. Anyway, so that's where you want to be. The number 2 place I'd say to go if you want to live on a beach but away from the tourism a little bit would be Navarre Beach, because Navarre Beach is nowhere near as packed as Pensacola Beach, and it is still pretty blissful over there when you're over there. Majority of them stick right off the main bridge right there, so if you live down going west a little bit more, you're pretty buffered. Kind of buffered a little bit from the tourists, but the main spot that you would want to live to kind of get away from tourists that not many tourists really do know about is the Perdido and Perdido Key area. And we have had so many of you who are relocating here who really want to do a lot of fishing. That's where you end up living because you want to get away from these tourists, but you still want those beautiful Emerald Coast beaches. And so Perdido and Perdido Key are 2 hotspots that I highly recommend if you want to live on the beach but want to be more away from the tourists. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is another one of those videos that one of you asked us to make, so thank you so much. We appreciate those recommendations. We appreciate you reaching out saying, hey, I wish you could do a video on this, because we have quite a bit that we've got lined up that we want to do that you guys recommended to us. So we always take your recommendations to heart and do what we can to make sure that we are meeting them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, licensed realtor here to help you out with all your real estate needs. Make sure you give us a call or text that phone number right below there. If you do plan on calling the Emerald Coast your next home, but if you're not quite ready for the move, why don't you do yourself a favor and follow along by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and notification bell. That way you are notified every single time we put out a brand new video. Till next time, we love you. Bye.